Talk more about Musk's bid with Twitter with a top tech voice, someone who knows Elon Musk very well. Joe Lonsdale is a founding partner of 8VC and a co-founder of Palantir. Joe, it's great to see you this morning. We're trying to make sense of actually what's going on in Texas, what's going on with this deal. Obviously, from anybody who's putting two and two together, it looks like the Texas AG is doing this on behalf of Elon Musk, in part because then it may put Elon Musk in a better position to either walk away from the deal or to negotiate lower. It sort of boggles the mind what's happening. But what do you think is happening?
I think a lot of people here are fans in Texas of Elon, so it's most likely he is a fan of Elon. I doubt they're coordinating. But yeah, listen, Andrew, I think people are just pretty shocked when they get to know the Twitter culture. They underestimate how incompetent it is. And it's just amazing that these people actually don't really know how many bots are spam there are, how much spam there is in their platform. It's something that it's probably not in their interest financially to know it, but it's also, if they were more competent, they would. And so I think Elon was probably pretty shocked to see they don't actually know these numbers. And it's pretty scary to buy something when you don't know the numbers. And so they probably should do their homework on it.
Which goes to the question of homework. One of the things that was so unique about this particular transaction, and one of the reasons that the board accepted Elon's bid, was he effectively said, I'm not doing homework. There will be no homework done, and I am waiving all homework abilities. I am buying this for what it is. What I see is what I'm getting, and that is it.
The way that works is their disclosures have to have been correct, right? So I'm not doing any homework based on, I've read your disclosures, I'm buying it based on what you've told me. But if there's disclosures that are incorrect, which there seems to have been, then Twitter's still liable. So that's the way it works. And so in this case, if that number's off, Elon's in there right now. Now, let's be honest here. The markets have gone down a lot. I haven't talked to Elon about this point at all. I'm sure with the markets down this much, you want to be really extra careful. But I think he's right to dig in on this point. Their disclosure may have been wrong on this, and they need to fix that.
But isn't the complicated part on this disclosure? Look, I am not one to defend at all Twitter, and if their disclosures were improper, they were improper, and they should be both slapped or more so than that by the SEC and such. Having said that, uniquely, when Elon made the bid for Twitter, one of the things he said at the outset was, I want to get rid of all of the bots. I think that this thing is overrun with bots. So clearly he had a view, which he made quite public, which is bots are a problem. I think there are too many. Now we're debating how many is too many.
It's true. I think culturally the bots oftentimes will do things that are very unhealthy for our dialogue and will force us in bad directions. Now, it may even be, though, that he thought for 4% that were there were obviously too many because he saw the impact on him. And when you do dig deeper, it turns out there may be more than Twitter realized. So, the disclosure, it is what it is. The disclosure, if it's wrong, means he can back out. And, he's in a position where he probably shouldn't do the deal if the disclosures aren't correct. And so I think it's smart of him to push on that one.
We've had VCs on our air who say, look, this thing is not worth half of what he's paying for it. It's worth $20 billion at most. The question I'd ask you is, do you think that he's prepared to go through the transaction? Is this, I want out completely? Is this, I just want a lower price? Does he think I can't really get out? So what I'm going to do is tell the Twitter board, I'm going to, lock you up in litigation for the next 18, 24 months. And therefore, you should probably just take a lower price because that makes more sense, time value of money and everything else. Or do you think there's something else going on here?
Obviously, this has been the biggest move in late-stage tech valuations we've had in 20 years that have happened since they agreed on the deal. It's obviously just not worth, what they had originally agreed. Now, that said, again, I think this point is just underestimated. The whole point about Twitter is like a clown car that ran into a gold mine. It is such a badly run company. You could make this thing with someone like Elon running it worth 5 or 10 times as much. So, I think he could still buy it and make it worth it. He would take a couple of years to grow into the valuation, but there's so many things you could do to fix this company and make it worth a lot more. So I still think it could be a very good deal if he has to do it.
Do you think that the way that this is all played out will make it harder, to the extent that Elon Musk ever wants to make another deal, another merger proposal, for a board? This board at the time really couldn't say no. The price was, remarkably high. Even if they didn't want to do this deal, I think there was a view that their fiduciary duty was such that they had to, and that they couldn't point to anything else, meaning they couldn't say, look, this is a bad guy, or we don't want to buy it, there's a risk. But now if you were a board and Elon were to go to you and make a proposal, I actually think that a board could go to court and say, look, we actually don't want to, we're not taking this proposal because look at this clown show over here. Look at what happened at Twitter. We can't put our company at risk the way those folks did.
I mean, look, Andrew, everyone knows that Twitter is a uniquely dysfunctional company, and everyone also knows the tech market's just crashed hugely the last couple months. So, Elon obviously has to do the deal if the disclosures are correct. I think it's the right thing to do to push on a disclosure that may be very far off in this case, and that's what he's doing. I mean, that's what I'd be doing in his shoes. I think that's what a lot of people would be doing in his shoes. I don't think it's that irresponsible.